Hello everyone, here's a quick demonstration of the Datamatcis IDP solution. I was interested because I saw quite a few posts on Datamatcis, and it took me a little bit to get this set up, but once I did, it seems to have quite a bit of power. So here I'll take you through that quick setup process. So the first thing I had to do is go to the document definition, and I just created a quick category called invoices, and then a project called vendor invoices. And this took me a little bit of a process, but this ontology, which is like a taxonomy, and so I created that. The key here is you have to click this little subtype link, and that then shows you the fields. And then it was pretty easy when you add a field. And I will show you that I did add the Azure AI Document Intelligence, which the engine, it supports AWS, Google, and Azure, as well as some of its own learning. And you can see here in the ML extraction, machine learning, these are all the fields that get returned as part of an invoice process in Azure. So it's really easy to just come in and, if I wanted total tax, I could just type that in, and then you have to, this was a little weird. I'm used to string decimal. Here they have alphanumeric and numeric and some of these weird data types. So I just said alphanumeric, or I can come down to numeric. And when I do so, it will show decimal places, and I can either turn that off or not. And then I just select, you see items tag, so those are the line items. I'm used to seeing a little table icon. Some of the other vendors do that. In this case, we can go down to total tax, and now that can be added as an image. You can use synonym matching for key value pairs, it seems. But essentially to set that up, and you can see that all of these, I just kind of added the header fields, but they do have these line item fields. I don't know that it's working perfectly. It might be something that I'm doing here, but I had to add a table. There isn't like a table to add for invoice processing, so I had to come in and manually say, hey, this is again under items, description items, and those are the table items. So I actually had to click on the table and then add the items. In the settings area is where you can come in and add your OCR configuration. So you see here, these are the ones that are kind of pre-built. You got quite a few, which is neat. You do see Google Vision, which is more for the ICR, OCR. You have ABBYY, you have the inbuilt OCR. I'm not sure what that uses. Periscript, the tools. Here I use the document AI, so I utilized a key. One of the other things I really liked about Datamatcis is you can come in and build your own neural models. So ML extraction, you can come in and add key value labels. You can initiate batches. I didn't really get too much into that. I was just trying to figure out how to process these things. The difficulty was in this input-output setup. I kept adding, and the project wouldn't show up. So this is how you actually have the input-output. I get why it does this because it's all SAS. So you can select the file types, and then when you go to the input parameters, you select the source type. So these are your sources: Google Drive, email, Dropbox, FTP, which are all great. The shared folder, I guess, because it is SAS based, they're going to have to assign you a source folder. It looks like it does automatically select my, as you can see here, my tenant name is in the URL along with my project name. And then you can test connection, but clearly I have no ability to access that UNC location given this is in the cloud, so here's how that works. But I did set this up with that default, and trying to figure out how to get that to move documents into processing and what it looks like. Been a little bit of a challenge, but when you go into the document monitoring, into the document monitor here, for some reason I have to select the project every time, which is kind of a pain. Not a fan of kind of this, I like to see like a batch manager. I guess this kind of is a batch manager. But when you click on it, you can see the image, but not the extracted information. So unlike some of the other ones like Rossum and this Form AX, which I'm going to be posting on, it was really easy. You can just literally tell the model you want and upload an image. Here you have a lot of setup. I had to actually create a user and assign the user to the project. But long story short, if I go to this upload documents feature, you will see this is actually how I can push it into that document queue. But once it's in the queue, I can't really see how you access it. I'm getting a number of errors there, but one of the things that you can do to test this out is you can go into the subtype ontology, then click the actual PO invoice. And once you're in here, you'll see I brought in a sample image. You have this little upload button, and I can hit this preview, and this is going to show what it extracts as it relates to the metadata associated with that Azure model. I'm finding that it's not extracting the data in the right way, and that could be because I have these elements here, these header elements that I can't even remove, just weird. But as you can see, it kind of read the invoice date, the invoice number, the amount. It's not sure why it's not reading the total amount, and then the line item details. As you see, it does a really good job reading the line quantity, unit cost, and extended cost, but for some reason the product and description doesn't seem to want to extract properly. And then we do have things like the tax and the subtotal, and then you can use this little extract value feature to lasso. Again, you do have to draw a box. I kind of like when you can just draw through it. But as you can see, if I ran the same document through Azure AI Document Intelligence, it reads everything perfectly. So I'm not sure why it's not pulling in the product and description. It might be part of my setup. You do have the image profiling concept. This is to allow for image processing, things like image enhancement, border removal, inverted edges, color dropout. And it's pretty cool. You just drag and drop these items in here, and then you can choose the elements. It's nothing I don't think that any other application has. It does also have full generative AI integration. You can see here OpenAI from Azure, AWS, it's a medical related one, and then Jarvis. So you could start to leverage generative AI as part of the data extraction or data validation process. And then again, back to the document monitoring, when I try to push some of these documents through, and it says, I have to manual handling. I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, systems only have problems that kindly enter details manually. Okay, click on it. One of the child documents is in interview stage. Please wait until. Okay, so clearly I'm not doing something right, but upload a document into an IDP solution should be easier than this. There's a lot of feature functionality, but also a lot of complexity to the setup.